Forget Fight Night Champion 2, ESBC have just committed a legal murder under law by dropping a new video that shows off some new movement mechanics, new invasion mechanics, some new combat, a new combo system, as well as some brand new in-game footage and an exciting new boxer that they've added to the roster. In this video we're going to be talking about, wow, I sound like Eminem rap god then, Jesus. In this video we're going to be talking about everything that's new in the game from ESBC's video and what I like about the game. Now, make sure you stick around towards the end of the video as I will be explaining a massive problem that I currently see with ESBC. The first thing ESBC shows off is the movement mechanics, and they honestly look more gorgeous than Alyssa Violet. You can call me a simp because I agree, I am a simp. I am a simp. I'm a simp for this movement because this is something beautiful to look at. It looks clean, it looks fluid, it looks responsive, and most importantly, it looks convincingly realistic. The way Lawrence O'Coley transitions from orthodox to southpaw is cleaner than a germaphob's house during a pandemic. There's no static movement in between stance switches, it's just effortless like it should be. These boxers move how professional boxers should move, so the fact that ESBC have managed to capture this is marvelous, is perfect. Now the analog stick is responsible for all this, as it's responsive to any little movement that you input into the analog, and it all centers around momentum. Big flicks of the analog sticks equal big movements, and slower, steadier movement with the analog stick equals slower movement with your boxer. So yeah, it feels like a fighting game has finally mastered the movement of the fighters, and it just genuinely looks good. I think this will be the best movement we've ever seen in a fighting game. So yeah, this is great. The movement in this game I'm a massive fan of, and it's probably the most impressive thing that ESBC have done, so big props to them for that. Showboating. Now the developers added showboating into the game that is unique to certain boxers' mannerisms. So you can be cocky whilst moving around the ring, Muhammad Ali style. Some boxers would drop their guard and become loose whilst moving, and I can't stress how much these little details are important in making a fighting game look realistic and selling the idea that this is a realistic boxing game. Making each boxer feel completely unique to each other. It's all in the little details that EA just disregard and say, nah, it doesn't matter. They do matter, and ESBC are capturing all these little details that make each fighter and each boxer feel different and feel unique. So this is another great thing as well. But I do want ESBC to add Billy Joe Saunders' looking tone. If they can add that, that'll be perfect as well. Dodging punches. Dodging a punch in ESBC is fluid and flows perfectly with the movement mechanics. There's no janky animation involved. It's smoother than a shot of whiskey after a long days of work. Dodging punches in ESBC is how punches should be dodged. There shouldn't be no over dramatic head movement to dodge a punch. It's quick, it's subtle, it's sharp, and it's fluent. Tina Turner could definitely learn a lot from this.
Out of pocket for that shit. Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that?
And this is how dodging punches in boxing actually is. It's a game of inches. You don't move your head fully to the right to dodge a little jab. You just move it a little bit so then you can counter. You know, these are the little details that you have to master when you're creating a realistic boxing game. And ESBC have generally got people who know about boxing, and it's clear to see. They also added a weave mechanics, so you can weave punches. This is pretty standard stuff we expect from a fighting game in 2021. Nothing to wet your pants about, sorry, but it's there, which is cool. Blocking in this game looks cool, and I do genuinely like the controller input to control blocking. Each analog is responsible for a glove, and moving this analog up defends the head, and moving these analogs down defend the body. And you can do either or, so you can move one up and one down to defend the head and body. This is cool. This is an amazing feature to add. I like this a lot because it's just not one button that you hold to defend like the head and one button you hold to defend the body. You have to do it with each glove, so I like this mechanic. I just really like this because you have to protect these areas for yourself. The game cannot save you by having one button that you press that can defend every punch possible. You have to protect these areas by yourself. You can also punch whilst blocking. Something Chrissy Mack should have, you know, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. But this is cool. The fact that you can block punches and then throw punches back whilst blocking is something that I've honestly never thought of, but something that really makes sense. These punches are obviously going to be less powerful and are mainly used to upset your opponent's rhythm, disrupt their momentum, and create some space so you can circle out and get away from your opponent. But this is a neat feature overall. I do like the fact that you can punch whilst blocking. I never thought of it, but it's a good feature to add. Combinations, the combinations are cool. Nothing too special in my opinion. They're somewhat smooth, but they do feel a little sluggish in other areas, so the combos are there, but I don't really have an opinion about them. They're nothing special, nothing revolutionary, nothing that will make you, you know, scream. KOs and knockdowns. ESBC did show us some KO/knockdown animations, and I will talk about this in a little while because honestly I'm not too impressed by this, and I'll explain why in just a minute. Innovation. So in ESBC, if you hurt your opponent, there is a price for rushing in and being wilder than wilder, trying to go for the bomb squad finish. It could lead you to getting starched like a bowl of pasta. So you have to be very, very careful when you go for the kill, and have to have a smart fighting IQ on when going for the finish and what's the right time to go for a finish. So this is something I really like. ESBC also added an interactive career hub where you can walk around the gym and choose what you want to do, whether it's spar, bag work, change your fighter's appearance, etc, etc, which is super, super dope. I was honestly thinking about this. I was playing UFC 4 and I was like, I wish they included the gym a lot more. Instead of just being able to spar, I wish they included the whole aspect in the gym. You see people running in treadmills on the UFC 4, and I was like, I wish they added more to the gym and wish they used the gym a lot more in UFC 4. So the fact that ESBC are in fact included in the gym and making the gym a lot more interactive, I really like. I'm glad ESBC are taking care of this aspect. New boxer. ESBC announced a new boxer known as Tyson Fury. You might know him. He's not like a major star or anything. You might have heard of him from word of mouth, but he's in there. The Gypsy King has officially been added to ESBC. I want ESBC to get him to record some voice lines. I love this man's voice. I don't know why, but it sounds like he's been gargling petrol all his life. I want him to record some voice lines. Please, please, ESBC. I will pay for it. Just get this man to record some voice lines. But I do love the fact that the Gypsy King is finally in a boxing game and not in an MMA game, which makes no sense. But, you know, I'm glad that he's actually going to be in a proper boxing game. I don't know how they secured this deal. They must have done a deal with the devil to get Tyson Fury, because I imagine EA were holding on to him with the baby grip. They weren't going to let go of him no matter what. So they must have signed a deal with the devil to get him. But I'm glad they got him. Thanks for the sacrifice, ESBC. Critiques. Okay, so I've talked about everything in the video, and I've told you what I've liked in the video that showcased everything they showed off. But now, let me tell you what I don't like about the game and what I don't like about the gameplay. Number one, this is a major issue. And it's my opinion. I don't know if anyone feels the same way. Let me know in the comments if you do. But punches, I don't like them at all. I'm sorry, it's a boxing game, but I do not like punches in this game at all. This is a boxing game, and I honestly do not like how the punches react with fighters and how they sound. The punches sound like a golfer's clap. They don't sound impactful or look impactful at all. It's not all bad when it comes to the punches, but the majority of it, I just can't get excited about it. For instance, this shot on screen right here looks like the boxer got his imaginary hair pulled by a kinky ghost. It doesn't look like he got cracked by a man who separates people from consciousness for a living. It doesn't look impactful enough, in my opinion. I don't know if they modeled the punches after Dominic Cruz and got him into the studio to record the punch sounds, but they just don't sound or look impactful at all or meaningful. There's no oomph behind them. There's no pop. There's no fire behind these punches. There's no behind these punches. And to me, this is the biggest issue I currently have with this game so far, and I think it's one of the main things you need to cover when you're making a boxing game. If you're making a tennis game, you want the tennis ball and the racket connection to sound realistic. You don't want it to sound like a wet fish, do you? So this is a problem I have. It's the biggest problem I have with the game. Let me know if you have this problem. Let me know if you like how the punches sound and react. To me, I just don't. I can't vibe with it. The second thing I do not like is the KO/knockdowns. They look janky, and you can tell the animations. I want ragdoll physics in this game. I want to whack my opponent and see the head turn around like an owl. I want to fold people like a napkin. I want to knock people out so the head smashes off the canvas and their brain jiggles more than a black girl's butt. I want forward KOs. I want ragdoll physics. I want all this stuff. To me, it seems like the fire almost freezes for a second before falling down. And I know this can happen in fights. I know you can knock people out stiff and out cold and they freeze for a second before falling. But it seems to happen every single time, which isn't realistic. So I think a variation of knockdowns and KOs needs to be added, and I think they're gonna do this. Obviously, I think they'll cover this. This is still pre-alpha footage, so I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, but the developers are looking for feedback, and that's my feedback. They're my two biggest problems with this game so far. One thing I want to mention though is I've seen people complain about no early access this summer. Let me cry, and no release date. I don't care. I do not care that there's no early access this summer or no release date being announced. I do not care. If this game takes 40 years to come out, I do not care. As long as this game is good, I am absolutely fine with how long it takes to come out. There's an infamous saying in the gaming world, and it's said by the legend known as, I don't know how to pronounce that. Google, you take over.
Shigeru Miyamoto.
He said a delayed game is eventually good. A bad game is bad forever. Do not rush these developers to make this game or release early access. Let them do their things. We'll do our things. Let them do their things. Continue supporting this game. Otherwise, we're going to get UFC 4 2.0, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that, right? Absolutely no one wants that. So leave them alone and let them do their thing. But that's it. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you thought about the ESBC footage. Until next time, I'm out of here. Goodbye.